A warm welcome to the attendees that started to join. We'll start in 1 minute. Thank you. Good evening to all of the parents that have joined us this evening. I know that it does get difficult with load shedding. We welcome you to Praxis Virtual Schools Open Day, and we hope you enjoy the evening with us. My name is Anne-Louise. I'll be your host this evening. We've got quite a lovely panelists on board this evening, and we'll be running through the program. Just a couple of house rules. At the bottom of your screen, you will see that there's a Q&A and a chat box. We do encourage you to ask as many questions as we move through the program to keep it as interactive as possible. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Praxis Principal Amanda Newman. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Louise. Good evening and welcome to our audience, staff and students. I have the privilege of working in a technology-driven educational environment. We're so proud of our students and our teachers for embracing our virtual learning platform. At Praxis, we offer the IB curriculum. Therefore, we adopt the high-impact teaching strategies to allow our students to complete the enhanced national curriculum in preparation for their IB examinations. I want to talk this evening a little bit about online learning versus virtual learning. There's a lot of confusion out there because online learning is a bit different. So what online learning means is that a child is allocated tasks and they are responsible for completing the curriculum on a self-paced manner, that's not what we offer at Praxis. At Praxis, we offer virtual learning. And the difference is the student is interactive in a class. They are physically part of a class. Although they are online, they are within the classroom setup. So this means that they log into the class using Microsoft Teams. The teacher that is physically in the class and the physical learners are one. When the teacher asks a question to the physical learners, the online learners are part of that question and part of the interaction of the class. So this is fantastic because what we have is conferencing technology that follows the teacher and they're able to move around, as you'll see on that diagram on your screen at the moment. The teacher leads instruction. Then they've got collaborative activities that they work together. So the conferencing technology allows the teacher, and I know I always use this synergy, that we've got our language teachers that love to move around and language, they're very expressive in their conversations. So we don't want to hamper them. We want them to move around a classroom. So with the conferencing technology, they're able to move around to a child, to discuss something, to move around into the classroom, go to a board, write on the board. It doesn't limit the child online. They get to see that interaction within the classroom. And that's what makes virtual learning a great experience because they are part of all of that. They're part of the interaction of the student. They're part of the everyday facility of the students as well in the group work. So we have things like also breakout rooms that the teachers utilize. So they'll put students together in a breakout room. So often also the students that are physically at school, they use their devices. They can actually venture into our digital world and go into their breakout rooms with the online students. Then we have a buddy system. The buddy system is allocating a physical learner with an online learner too, and then joint projects that they work together. So we encourage the student socialization with peers by participating in subject-specific discussions. And we based our learning on bricks and mortar school. Therefore, we have a structured timetable with a break, as well as assessment periods. We have assembly. So I meet with them every Monday morning. And our timetable is very much a normal structured timetable. So we start at 7:45 in the morning and we finish at 2:15. They have a timetable, their essentially. They will log on into their classrooms at their given time for their particular subject. So the teacher is with them to guide them through the curriculum, to be part of the class, to do the homework, to do a speech or do unprepared reading, whatever it may be that they need to interact with that class at that particular time. So, and that's what you get, what you'll see also with the diagram that we've got. We've got the stations where the students will actually be sitting in the classroom and then the students online. There's another slide. There we go. You will see in this slide the demonstration of there are learners sitting on the side. You'll see on the screen. So the students in the class actually get to see the learners that are online. They don't just see an avatar, so they actually get to see the person behind that particular, if it's their initials, so say for instance AN, but they get to see actually Amanda's on screen. All right, so that's what's so nice, because then they can relate. And the one day I was going into one of the online classes, and then I think it was a grade 10 class, and they said, okay, bye Pumi, and they walked out the classroom. So that shows me that they are interacting with the learners that are physically in the class. So that's what makes it so special. It's very important for the students to form part of our school community. So it doesn't matter where they are geographically located, they need to be part of our community that we are presently at Eagle House. So we use that as our base school. We also offer then intervention programs for students. So as I said, our school day finishes at 2:15. Then at 2:30 to 3:30, we have our interventions. So that's an opportunity for the students then to go to the teacher, and it's facilitated with the physical students as well as online. So they're all grouped again together. They get to chat to the teacher and ask them about certain topics they don't understand, or maybe they need to elaborate on something. And that's the opportunity that they can actually talk to the teacher at that given time. Virtual learning has proven to be the most positive alternative for students in our modern era. And I'm sure you'll agree that things have changed, dynamics have changed, and yes, COVID has brought that on, but I think we've embraced it in a different way, and that's what makes Praxis so special. I know that if I was sending my child, I'd like my child to attend school, even though they're online, so that I know that my child is in class from 7:45 to 2:15. If my child needs an intervention or they need extra assistance, I know there's that available. The teachers are there to assist. And even to say, I mean, now we even have teachers that are doing intervention programs for our matric students. So they are here until 9 o'clock. So they are dedicated. And I think that's what makes the difference. I'm very happy to be part of this community, and our students they seem to be flourishing. And I know we have 2 of our students online with us this evening, so I can't wait to introduce them as well. That's our timetable, and that's our interventions. So we have our assessment period, you'll see on a Tuesday. We have then certain subjects for the different grades that they'll be assessed on. So they have an hour assessment. So we do meet the SBA requirements for the government and the department. And then we also, what is not in color, you'll see below it, those are our intervention sessions on particular days. So we run interventions Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Wednesday, we generally have where it's extracurricular activities for the students, so they can do soccer, whatever. So that's time for our online learners so that they can go and do a social activity if they want out of the school. And then on Fridays, obviously, I think everybody's quite tired after the week. So we let everybody leave at a normal time on Friday, which is 2:15. Lovely. Thank you so much, Anne-Louise, for that. I hope you enjoy your evening with us and our demonstration. We also want to show you what we're going to be developing for our new year with Minecraft and with Microsoft. So our students have logged on to also demonstrate that. But I'm first going to hand over to Mark, which is our principal of Eagle House, and he is also an academic specialist. Thank you, Anne-Louise.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Mark, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Louise, and thank you, Amanda, for being so generous with those kind words. Good evening, parents, and good evening, learners. I think Amanda's covered everything. I think what I can maybe share is just a brief history of our school. But I think I need to start with, even though we, the physical school, the learners at home are an extension of the physical school. So it may be seen as two separate schools, but it's not really two separate schools. It's one school. Just some learners are in the physical school where we have bricks and mortars, and the learners at home, the only thing that's missing is the bricks and mortar. So, you know, we are one school and we basically follow the same thing. So we've been the top performing independent school for the past 13 years. And we've received awards every year just to prove that. We've had 100% pass rate, not just in matric, but throughout the school. And that's normally assisted by our smaller classes and our passionate teachers. You know, all our teachers are qualified and they are SACE vetted. We registered with the IEB, which is the Independent Examinations Board. They normally oversee all the examinations. We registered with the GDE, so we have an EMIS number, and we also registered and with Umalusi. So Umalusi overlooks everything. I think Amanda has said everything that I could add to, and maybe during the question and answer session, if there are any questions that we can clarify, please feel free to ask questions. I don't think there's much I can offer that Amanda has not mentioned. So thank you very much. Thanks, Anne-Louise.
Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us this evening. You had an open day last night, so thank you for this evening as well. We're going to go over to Dennis, who will be just discussing his subject. Dennis.
Good evening, parents. Thank you, Anna. My name is Dennis Makotsa. I'm a science teacher. I teach from grade 8 to grade 12. Teaching science in a virtual setup has been an exciting experience, and that's what I'm going to share with you. Science is a practical subject. Being a hands-on subject, you would suppose that if you are going to be getting resources or material online in a virtual setup, you're actually going to be missing out a lot on the practical part of the science. But that is not the case. There are a number of online platforms or facilities which one can access or which one can utilize in order actually to access the curriculum in science. Now, what is this science? In grade 8 and grade 9, we have what is called natural sciences. Natural sciences is more general. It embraces all the sciences that you're going to be actually meeting from grade 10 to grade 12. So it has got physics, it has got chemistry, it has got biology or the life sciences. Now, when you get to grades 10 and up to grade 12, then you're going to be getting the distinction now. The science breaks up into physics, or what we call physical sciences, and then you're going to have life sciences. So students would have been prepared for the FET, our grade 10, 11, and 12, through the experiences they would have had in grade 8 and 9. Now, if they do not get the authentic experience of actually doing something in science, then they are actually not prepared for grade 10, grade 11, or grade 12. But for the virtual learning, what we have is there is the platform, the Minecraft app. There are other platforms where you can access physical sciences. There are other platforms where you can access life sciences, but I will not talk about them in detail here. I'm going to just be giving what is it that you can do in an online setup or in a virtual setup. So students are in a privilege to be accessing practical work. So what we do is we assign them activities, say design an experiment, and then we ask them to actually carry out the investigation. So there are experiments in chemistry which can be conducted online. There are experiments in life sciences which can be conducted online. There are experiments in chemistry which are going to actually witness today in the next presentation, which can be conducted online. I'll just give a few things in life sciences. You know, in grade 12 or grade 11, we can actually go on a fossil dig, looking for fossils in a virtual setup. So you do get an area where you're actually going to be looking for fossils. And as you are carrying out, well, the child is now challenged to actually be digging for the fossils, locate a site where there's a possibility of coming up with a fossil. That is in the life sciences. In physical sciences, if I talk about physics, the child is going to be challenged to actually go for experiments to do with electricity, for example. They may also do mechanics online. So the key is, are they in a position to actually plan and prepare in the same way they would plan and prepare if they were in a physical setup? So we do provide those challenges through this virtual teaching and learning system. So what we have is the child is going to have authentic experiences. And in any case, when you are doing science, there are going to be abstract concepts or abstract ideas. And we think the coming of or the evolution in digital learning or the evolution in technology, where we can now access concepts which were previously totally abstract. I will give you an example. If you're doing earth sciences, where you are studying the astronomy, for example, it becomes a bit of a challenge if we did not have the technology to go with it. But now we can do what are called simulations, where we actually access everything to do with astronomy, or most of the things to do with astronomy, using simulation. We can access most of the things that we could not access in some of the the physics, which we now access through the simulation. So what we have is, that's a privilege which we did not have. And with the implementation or the introduction of virtual teaching and learning, the learners who are actually at home can then collaborate with the learners who are at school. We do have situations where we can actually have the setup at school, and the learners who are at home can actually make observations, while the students who are physically at school are the ones who have taken the responsibility to set up and actually conduct the experiment. But the observation will be for everybody. So in terms of actually delegation of responsibilities, as it would be in a situation in a physical setup, we do have those situations where we're going to say, okay, fine, you guys who are online, or you guys who are from home, who are working from home, please give us your observations first before we collect observations from those who are physically in class. So that kind of collaboration and interaction will promote development as the students access the curriculum through these experiences. And we do have another way of looking at science, where we talk of artifacts. Artifacts would generally be pieces of work or pieces of evidence from elsewhere, which we can then share with everybody, whether you're physically in class or you're going to be in a virtual setup. You can just send those documents to the students, and then they examine, and then they can forward their interpretations for their analysis. So if I'm not going to be taking too long, I'm going to just close by saying the virtual teaching and learning hybrid learning approach, where we integrate the use of technology in teaching and learning, so that there is no demarcation in actually being in a physical setup, as opposed to you actually learning from a remote location where maybe there's no physical school, but in your home, in your house, you are in a position to be actually attending school. We continue to do it in the sciences as we resolve those ambiguities that would have actually been presented after making observations, because that is our business in science. We provide explanations of observations, and to explain those observations, we conduct investigations. To conduct the investigations, this is where I say we are going to be using platforms like Minecraft. We're going to be using other platforms that are online, where the student is presented with an opportunity to have a learning experience that is authentic, to have a learning experience that will enable them to interact with the resources they would have also interacted with in a physical setup. So that is our point in the physical sciences. If I may leave it there and hand you over to Brenton, who is going to be sharing the Minecraft app and its applications in science. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. That was quite a passionate presentation. I appreciate that. And then we'll go over to Brenton and the two students that will be joining us for that session. You can introduce yourself. Thank you.
Afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for joining. So yes, I will be doing a bit of a example of a demo today within Minecraft Education Edition. If you can see me, let's just turn on the camera. There it is. That's me. My name is Brenton. I am a EdTech specialist. I basically do a lot of future-ready classroom development within applications. And I'm very excited today to show you a bit of an example. Alongside me are two of the students, Abraham and Brandon, who will be simulating students within our virtual lesson today. So this is Minecraft Education Edition. For those of you who do not know about it, it is a really brilliant application. Most of the students in today's classroom already know of it. And obviously, this is where the lessons get future proofed. So we spoke about science, of course, and in today's demonstration, we will be doing a little bit of a science walkthrough. So Minecraft has a vast majority of different tools that cover a whole bunch of skill development, such as coding, communication skills, collaboration skills. It doesn't end there. I think there's way too much to discuss in the short amount of time that we have today, unfortunately. But without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it. So in this particular demonstration, we are doing a chemistry lesson. So I'm a facilitator, and these are my two students that have joined in. So this is basically a tutorial world that we're going to play through. So bear with me. I want to try and move as slow as possible. So in the chemistry set of Minecraft, this is a safe environment where students are free to experiment with all of these different components. And it's very rewarding, I should add. So the first tool that we actually are able to use is the elemental constructor. So basically what it does is we are able to access a virtual screen, as you can see, and it actually helps us with element construction, helps us visualize that a bit better. So on the tutorial board, we have an example where we can create hydrogen, which will be
Brenton,
one proton. Yes.
sorry to interrupt. You are not sharing.
Is the screen not sharing? I do
Yes.
apologize. Let me just try and share that again. Is it sharing now?
Perfect.
There
Yep,
we go.
showing.
Apologies. I
Awesome.
got carried away. All right. So now that the screen is sharing, these are my two students, Abraham and Brandon, within Minecraft Education Edition, of course. And the very first tool is the element constructor. Okay, so as an example, we are going to be creating a hydrogen, which is one proton and one electron. So within the virtual hub that we have, we are going to add one proton and one electron. And as you can see, it really gives us a very nice picture of what that would look like. And the hydrogen pops up on the right-hand side. So there we can grab the element as it is and physically hold that to work with a bit further. The second example would be sodium, which is 11 protons, 11 electrons, and 11 neutrons. So as we add up all the way to 11, we can see that it is very beautifully visualized for us on the right-hand side, ultimately adding up to sodium. So this is really cool. I must say, having the visual version of that is truly magnificent. So we can take it even a step further. So now that we've got our elements, we are going to move on to the compound creator. So the compound creator, we are going to try and create sodium acetate. As you can see, my students are doing that with me. 2 carbons, 3 hydrogens, a sodium and a oxygen would create the next step in it for us. So if we go ahead and pull out all of those resources and we add them in here, I do believe some of them have been stolen from me by the students. Nonetheless, let's do 2 carbon, 3 hydrogen. So we need 2 carbon. I think there's a hydrogen. We need a single sodium and 2 oxygen. There we go. As you can see, the sodium acetate has been created for us. Again, a nice visual representation of the sodium we currently have made. On to the next one is the lab table. So this is where it gets really interesting. This is where we can combine those resources in a safe environment. So I'm going to ask one of these students, Abraham, if you could perhaps go ahead and create a sodium acetate times 4, which is a ice bomb in a science environment. So what you will see what happen is if it was an incorrect formula, okay, so where in a physical environment, it would not obviously work, it will blow up. So this is actually a safe environment. As you can see, it blew up and we are left with nothing but the ashes. Safe environment, nothing physically happened. So that's one thing that's obviously a definite pro for a virtual environment. Here we go, we're using the correct method and we have created a ice bomb. There we go. So as you can see, it's a really fun and interactive way to do science in a safe environment. There's a whole host of other different components that we can also use, like material reducers. Definitely too much to cover in one session, but nonetheless, all the tutorials are there for the students to freely experiment with and play with. And there's just so much that's set in with Minecraft Education Edition. So this is the future of science in a virtual environment. Obviously, it is free, but Minecraft does not stop there. Thank you so much for the for being my subject today, Brandon.
It's a pleasure.
I really appreciate that. Just so you guys can see what it looks like in a virtual lesson environment. Minecraft obviously expands now into the newest development, which is esports. If you don't know what esports is, it's huge. So that's basically going to be a competitive, it could either be intra-school or schools versus schools tournaments where Minecraft is being played. Obviously, they get to do various different challenges against each other, and these are brain challenges where they have to figure out quizzes, puzzles, mazes, you name it. It could involve chemistry. It could involve coding, which also sits in with Minecraft. So yeah, just an amazing application that's free to use for our students. And then obviously, lastly, there is a Minecraft Student Ambassador program, which the students can join to up their skill level and take it to the next. Thank you so much for joining in and watching my demonstration. From here on, that was me. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Brenton and students, for that display. Vivian, I'm not sure if you want to add anything or Manda to that Minecraft before we move on to Freeman for comments.
Yes, thank you very much, Anne-Louise and Brenton and the students. What an amazing job you did. Minecraft Education Edition is something that is gaining huge momentum in games-based learning and 21st century learning and design skills. So Praxis Online Eagle House most definitely is one of these schools that is embracing 21st century learning and design in all the different aspects. And we, as a partner to the schools group, are very proud that they're going to be initiating this with a new year. We are going to be doing teacher training, and like Brenton mentioned, there's the student ambassador program as well, that we will get some of the Microsoft people to work with the students directly, and it just brings that creative thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork into the classroom. And we know that is what our work environments are like. Everybody does things together. And I think building those skills in the K-12 environment for students is future-proofing them. And well done to the Praxis and Eagle House team for this. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present, and have a good evening further. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the Minecraft team and our students, our Praxis students, Abraham and Brenton. I'm going to move on to Freeman just with the commerce subjects, and after that we'll just discuss a little bit on the logistics of admissions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne-Louise. Thank you, parents. Thank you, prospective students, everyone online. I'm going to talk about, my name is Freeman Makwarimba. I am a head of department for the commerce subject in Praxis and EGO. I'm going to talk about the commerce department. I'm just quickly going to share my presentation with you. Okay. So in our commerce department, to just talk a little bit about what the subjects are in commerce, the three core subjects in commerce are accounting, business studies, and economics. In grade 8, grade 7, 8, and 9, there are actually only one subject called EMS. In Praxis and EGO this year, we have decided to actually split into business and economics as one subject and accounting as a standalone subject for the purpose of building a more solid foundation. But the subject itself remains one subject. But I think what is more important, because most of the things have already been talked about in terms of our approach, I just want to add a little bit more about in commerce, what is it that we do different at Equals and why we are inviting parents to join us, both for the Praxis online. Why is it that we think that we are the best home for your child? Number one is because our focus with commerce is to really do commerce. What do I mean by that? We are trying to build students who are actually commerce ready, business ready, accounting ready. And how do we do that? Our primary focus is to try and focus on building the students to be ready for the real world. Some of the activities that we do are the focus on trying to simulate the real world business. One of the things that we try and do in terms of our approach, I have real world simulation here, but to just talk a little bit, to go back a little bit to say, in terms of the school world approach, there's the idea that the things that we do are real time. And one of the worries that many parents have is when a school is online, there's some homework that is posted somewhere and the student will go and find it some other time when they can. With our structured school, with our structured school timetable, you are able to learn real time with the other students who are sitting in class. And to just show, it's not that the teacher is speaking like I was a minute ago, but the teacher is able to demonstrate in class, work out a sum if it's an accounting question, if we're trying to work out text, the teacher is able to demonstrate in real time and the student is able to follow. Because one of the challenges that normally happens with presentations is you don't actually get to see the steps as they go. But when the teacher is able to actually demonstrate and do workings with you, then the student feels as though they are part of the class and they get to see the process. But also because we are online and our classes are all recorded, then there's the advantage of being able to do the class twice as much, if you like. You are able to watch the class during class, but if there's anything that remains a gray area, you are able to call back and rewatch the class. If nature called during class and you had to step out, you are sitting at home, you had to go answer the doorbell, and maybe you missed one simple concept. You are able to just replay after the lesson and you're able to get the concept instantly because it's available to you. But to go into the more detail about in business and in commerce and accounting, what is this real world simulation that we're trying to do? We're trying to create business studies, accounting and economics, and we're trying to make it a practical subject. We are challenging Mr. Dennis and say, it's not only physical science that can be practical. We are saying the business managers, some of whom are sitting here today, we have kids who want to join us. They understand that business is actually a practical subject. Why is it a practical? Because we have entrepreneurs who have gone ahead and developed their ideas into businesses and they are running. We have people who have registered business through CIPC. In hindsight, you find that many people would say schools didn't teach us how to open a business. But the truth of the matter is we just like to blame the curriculum, whereas the curriculum is designed in such a way that the content of how to register a business and where to go is already there. So what do we do to make this real? We simulate the process of how do you go and open an account with CIPC? And therefore, if you want to register a business, how do you do that? So we don't just teach students and say, when you want to register a business, there's something somewhere called CIPC, but rather we go with them, whether it's our online student or the physical students that are coming to school. We go with them on the site and we take them through the process of how do you register to become a CIPC registered agent, to register a company for yourself or for others. We also have an Entrepreneurs Day. And during the Entrepreneurs Day, students actually create products. And after creating products, they're able to sell them both at school and online. I think one of the most exciting things that we have seen due to online, I think the idea of real-world simulation is coming full cycle because we are not just simulating this business or the class, but we are also simulating and copying what is happening around us. One of the things that we are seeing is many shops, many stores are going online. And what we saw this year, I was talking to Amanda and saying, I've seen a website being designed by a student who is in grade 9, an online store being designed and products loaded, the terms and conditions on the website with the footnotes and everything and how to shop and how to put prices, including delivery cost, how to calculate distance, being done by a student who is in grade 9. In most cases, better than some shops that we are already buying from. And these are the benefits that we see. We are seeing that students are already 5 steps, 10 steps ahead of us. And this is because they grew up during the time of this technology. And all we really have to do with the knowledge that we're teaching them is to allow them to tap into something that is very natural to them. It's a little bit not natural to us because of our generation, but for them, when you take them through Minecraft, when you take them through any website, this is the environment where they grew through. So therefore, they tend to be very comfortable. But not only that, this is the area where our world is going to, and if our students are able to benefit from it, very important. Another area that is very contentious in societies, why are schools not teaching our kids how to do tax returns? The truth of the matter, once again, the curriculum requires them to learn. What has been the failures? The failure is we teach this content as though it is content to just pass an exam. The change that we are making is to say, this is how you earn an income, and this is what SARS would take. And we go and log on to SARS website and say, on SARS website, this is how you then submit your tax return. When they talk about an auto assessment, this is actually what it means. So the benefit for students is not that they are just going to pass an exam. We feel as though they are going to pass in many areas, and most importantly, they are going to excel in life. So we would like kids to pass not only the exams in grade 12, but to also pass at life, which is the most important thing. We also introduce accounting software in class so that the accounting that they're doing is married to what is actually happening at work. Lastly, one of the things that we have decided to join for our kids is to be able to join the stock market. Why is that important? The world that we live in, it is very important for a student to be able to learn how to invest. Simple things like calculating interest rates, simple things like how do you analyze fundamentals on a stock market. And if the students are already learning this, but if they don't get the connection between the variables that affect business, such as the war in Ukraine, and therefore how that affects the share price of a company like MTN, then the question is, are we really doing our work? And our realignment with teaching to try and simulate the reward is to try and say, the child who leaves us is ready to go and participate in the stock market, is ready to go and do accounting in the real world. They're able to actually do accounting, do tax returns at home and assist their parents if there's need. So that's the most important. Lastly, I would like to extend an invite for the students who are joining, who will be joining us next year, because in March, we are going to register our school and our students for the Johannesburg Stock Exchange Investment Challenge, wherein from March until the end of the year, they are given digital coins to buy shares on the stock exchange, trade as if this was real. The benefits there is, most importantly, they are using the knowledge of the things that they're learning in class to analyze the market, both the technical analysis, the fundamental analysis, but also they actually get to participate in a real market. And beyond that, they are then able to actually, the winning team, I think the total prize money is looking at about 5,000 per individual learner. But obviously, it's not really just about the winning. It's about going through the process of interacting with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and getting mentors of people who are stockbrokers who understand this process, so that by the time that students leave high school, if it's a career that they want to choose in stock market, if it's them have made their income wherever they are working as a medical doctor, as a scientist, they might want to invest, and they already know the process. They already know how to analyze the market, and therefore they will be able to benefit from the education that we're giving them. That was my piece. I think my last words are, join us and let us explore this world of business status. Thank you, Anne-Louise.
Thank you so much, Freeman. I can see there's a lot of passion for that topic area. Then I'm just going to give the floor to a general conversation, or just a broad, how the admission process would work. And then we will take some questions and answers. Luzanne, if you can, come on, just quickly. Stop.
Okay.
There we
Hi,
go.
everyone. Hello. Thank you, Anne-Louise. I'm Lizanne. I am the contact person in admissions. So if you have any questions or you need any assistance, I'm the person you can contact. If you would like to apply at Praxis Virtual School, please go to our website. You just fill in the application form on the application button. And you would also need to send me the birth certificate of the student, a character reference from the current school, the latest school report you have, and last year's school report, and then also your consent as a parent to release student information. Also, we have an application fee, which is 750 rands. Once you submit everything, I will be in contact with you to let you know what the process is. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lizanne, for that. Just the logistics around that, and it was also quite nice to put a face to the one that phones you afterwards. Amanda, if you want to come on for any general questions and answers. And then maybe we've broadly touched on 2 separate subject areas and maybe some additional activities that we do in support of student life, I say, in the virtual environment. Maybe we can elaborate a little bit on the other subjects that is offered, the President's Award and all of the wonderful other activities that the students participate in.
Yes, thank you so much, Anne-Louise. Sorry, I do want to also reiterate, you know what, when I hear the teachers and their passion, I've got Dennis sitting with me and I hear Freeman, you know what, it's, and I'm sure the audience will also agree, you can hear the passion in the subject. You can hear how the teachers actually use blended learning, how they integrate the student physically in the class and the child that's sitting at home. So there's no difference between the 2 students. They're all one, which is absolutely fabulous. I just wanted to reiterate as well that the lessons are recorded, so the students do get to go back to that. And obviously seeing the child is very important for the emotional well-being. That's why we always ask for the students to put on their cameras. And also they get to upload work. It gets put on the digital system on Microsoft Teams, and then we mark it online and give feedback with that as well. The students are also able to write exams as well online. We are looking at centers where they will be facilitated, where they'll also get to write, and that will be at the end of the year for their final exams. So they get used to writing that ready for IEP examinations. The President's Award is definitely something that I'm very much looking forward to. That's going to be so much fun for the students because, and I think Luzon is also part of that. For ranging, we've got a presentation coming up. I'm not sure which date that is, Luzon, but that is coming up soon, and that is where they get to reach different milestones. And this is what's so important. This is an environment where they get to interact with other students, where they get to socialize. They get to do hiking. They get to provide goals for whether they're going to, for skills as well. So I think driver's license is one of the skills too. If they play a musical instrument, so they get goal setting. And that's very important because they need to learn to set goals and attain them. And I think it goes from your bronze right through to your gold. And we start in grade 8. So they can develop that and actually go through the process too. Then they are linked to community hours. Obviously, I think Anne-Louise can also assist us with that. She's very fay with all our universities, whether it be national universities or international universities, and a requirement for entry. And that is part of creating their whole portfolio. So nowadays, you know, entering into university is not just a matter of, oh, I need to pass and I need to attain my marks, but it's what else do we add to our portfolio? And having the President's Award, adding that to our portfolio, doing the Minecraft, be an ambassador perhaps if they can. All of these things add on, as well as their community service. Now, the community service generally work hand in hand with the President's Award, so they will actually be able to log online. So again, it's a digital platform that they can log their hours and so forth. So everything is attainable. And Anne-Louise can testify to that they need more to add to their portfolios.
Yes, and I think it's also important for a student to get involved with different activities, not just academic. So there is different activities that they need to complete. Your physical, which is the sports. It can also be gym. So they can actually submit their log in gym to keep healthy and fit. There's the service, as Amanda has mentioned, and I believe that's also important for your LO. The community service, and then they've got the adventurous journey as well as the skill. So the skill can be any foreign language or obtaining skills in a new instrument, so any new skill that they can obtain. So it just pushes the student on a journey, a personal journey, to push themselves beyond their normal comfort zone. And it's an international award system, so it's known as the Edinburgh Award. So it does enjoy international recognition as well as local. So it's a lovely program, and it's a structured program to help them balance academics as well as your extracurricular. So just they create an online profile, and that it just pushes them to balance and to get active in specific activities. it is important to be a bit more well-versed in your resume. So the assistance from a school to support the university and the subject choices is quite important. Now, I just want to encourage the parents, if they do have any questions, to post that up in the Q&A or the chat. And then, I don't know, Amanda, if you want to add anything else, and then we'll.
Just Louise is just about the sites again, that we're looking at 12 sites around nationwide. So then the students could also participate and actually attend a site. That also helps with socialization and then writing their final exams, as I said, because that exam is the written examination. So it is one thing that they are able to go online and type the information, but we also want them to feel like, what does it feel like to be in an exam situation? To get over that anxiety as well. So to bring them into a familiar environment. So when they do go to their final examination, that they're at ease, they know where to go, they are familiar with their surroundings, and then their facilitators at the same time. So that's definitely something we're also putting in place for the students. It's all about their well-being at the end of the day as well.
But I don't see any questions coming in just yet. Maybe that was most of the presentation has answered some of the questions. What I have done, I have shared the brochure in the chat box for the parents. It is also obviously available on the website, and I'm sure that Luzanne has shared that with you, which will give you a bit more of an outline onto the subjects that we do offer. So I think if we don't have any questions, I thank the panelists and the parents for joining us. And then Amanda, if you would end off the session for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Louise. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for this evening, and also our students for giving up their time as well and interacting. So nice to see them online as well. I enjoy seeing their faces. I know we have our time and our meetings together, which is absolutely great. But I just want to thank everyone again for this evening, and we look forward to the registration of your children.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amanda. And then we'll be sharing a link recording to the session for the parents that maybe was interrupted during the session. And we look forward to your questions coming in through the admissions. Thank you very much.